Hi guys! Oh my gosh, I am so excited, so nervous. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Morgan Zambrano, and it is my vision to take all of my I can't even talk to you guys, all of my knowledge and skills from the last 6 years and turn it into actionable tips and tricks for the average network marketer. And so I am here today, gonna have a special guest here in a minute. Someone I have learned from literally for 6 years. Literally since I joined. A little bit later, I'll tell the story in just a second. You guys are so nice. Oh my gosh, thank you. The amount of people jumping on is awesome and also totally freaking me out. This is totally fine. So I see our guest has arrived. I have never done a co-live on Instagram, you guys. So we're excited and nervous. Holy moly, y'all. Let's see. Did it work? I accepted the request. Did it work? Oh, nope, didn't work. That would help.
Hey.
There we go. Hi.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, you guys. The man of the hour. Hi, Bob.
How are you? Let me get myself situated. It always gets a little funky when you go
I know when it
live.
goes like half and half.
I know.
Honestly, I've never gone live on Instagram, so I was like, is this going to look like Facebook? I'm really not
this
even
is your
sure.
first time live on Instagram? Get out of here.
Not live, sorry. My first time doing
dual live. Okay,
yeah, doing a co-live. I've done them on Facebook, but we have...
I should feel very honored then.
I am the one who's honored. So you guys, I asked Bob if we could do this interview because he was announced as our keynote speaker for our conference coming up. So if anyone is joining from any other companies, I'm with SeneGence and we have a conference coming up and Bob is our keynote, which is incredible. And I don't think I've ever messaged anyone so fast because Bob might not know this, but I have followed you pretty much since the beginning of my journey, back when we call her Baby Morgan. So back when I was Baby Morgan, like a brand new distributor, I somehow started following you and it seriously changed the trajectory of my business. And I've gone on to become like top in the company because of your specific servant leadership and the love, serve, grow, all of that I'm going to have, you talk about. But I'm just so honored to be here because a lot of it has to do with you and your teaching. So I'm nervous. So I'm just going to ask you if you'll introduce yourself to anyone watching who maybe doesn't know you and a little bit of your story.
Yeah, sure. Hey, I'm Bob. Nice to meet everybody. I know we probably have some of my viewers tuning in here. So so as Morgan said, I guess the way that I'll start off is that we in our business, which is called Your Virtual Upline, you see the sign there, we teach a philosophy that we call love, serve, grow. So we really believe that love and service and growth are actually the keys to building a business that isn't just financially successful, but is also personally fulfilling and sustainable. And so we just believe that this profession is, when it's done right, it's about a lot more than just making money. Now, we're not against making money, but we just feel called to do something deeper. And so we teach this thing called Love, Serve, Grow. And in action, it really boils down to, I believe that there are 3 core skills that if you can just learn how to master these 3 things, that you can be pretty successful in a business like this. And they are in order: sales, marketing, and leadership. Sales, marketing, and leadership are the 3 core skills to success. And so sales is an interesting one because a lot of people in our space, we have kind of a weird relationship to sales. We try to pretend like we don't sell. We serve, we share. The truth of the matter is we sell, and whether you want to admit that or not. Now, I think the problem that most people have with selling, this is actually going to be one of the core things I talk about at conference, is that we feel like sales is not aligned with our values and the way we want to run the business. Like, we've only been taught one way to sell, and it's that kind of pushy manipulation form of selling where it's just about making a sale, getting a recruit. And so we actually teach something that we call transformational selling. And I like to call it selling with a servant heart. And so we teach people a way to sell in their business that actually is more focused on serving and helping than just making the sale. But here's the secret: you make this shift, you'll make way more sales than you ever have in your business anyway. So it's just a different approach. We're about different things, and I'm passionate about it because I think all of us are we realize that we know the world has changed. There's no argument there. And I'm sure you see this too, Morgan. Social media has changed a lot. Like what people are looking for, what they tolerate on social media, it's shifted. And so we, as a business owner, as somebody selling on social media, we have to learn how to evolve and adapt with it. So that's what we really, primarily, we teach people how to sell and market their businesses in a way that helps them stand out.
I love that. And you kind of brought up the topic I really wanted to dive into, which is 2023 and just kind of how you see maybe like the outlook of this year, kind of your vision about this year, and maybe how it's evolved from, like, for example, you know, I saw a lot of growth during the pandemic. My team grew very rapidly. And then last year, and I'll say this publicly to anyone listening, because I think it's good for you to hear leaders say this, like, my numbers went backwards. They went down. And we've seen that a lot in, like, across my friendships and in the industry. And so now I'm just curious what your vision is coming out of 2020, 21, 2022, and now into 2023. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, so I'll actually reference some research that's out there, some studies that have been done on consumer behavior. So what are people actually looking for in the companies that they do business with and the people that we purchase from? So there's one particular study, an article that was written by the Harvard Business Review. There were two key findings to me that really stood out. The first one is this: people are, in every purchase, they're looking for maximum value. So when I think about the way that most people sell, and the way that when I think of COVID, people had all this money, they had nothing to do, they were looking for somewhere to spend it, online shopping went through the roof. We had all these COVID business babies that just, I'm bored and I'll do this. And they did it because it was simple, and they did it because it was easy. And the minute that it wasn't that anymore, the minute that the real world got back into place, and then also money became tighter, inflation, reduced spending, people are losing jobs. What happened was the scales really shifted to value. Value is the thing that determines every purchasing decision. And price is what you pay, value is what you think you get. And here's I don't know any other way to say it, so I'm just gonna say it like this. Most people in this profession have no idea how to create value for what they do. Beyond doing this, just blasting their products and business all over social media, copying and pasting their way through prospecting. Every single conversation is a hey girl conversation. You'd be great for my team. Here's my stuff. We call that product information. When you're product focused, when your content and your conversations are mostly about what you do, it is the lowest level of value creation. And people they have a very low tolerance for it today. Mm-hmm. And so here's what I'm seeing. And I'm not saying you're doing this, Morgan, right? Please, let's not, say that. But most people haven't recognized that they need to shift their focus to a different approach. It's not a right or wrong conversation. It's the world has changed and we must adapt with it. And so we teach people in selling how to create value, and understanding that just talking about your products, just talking about your comp plan and your company, it doesn't create value. And it also will never make you stand out, because this is what every single person does in this profession.
I love all of that. I'm so glad so many of my team members are watching. I'm like, this is exactly what we talk about all the time.
Can I give you one example?
That's actually, I was going to say, okay. Could you give them either an example or even like an action step? Oh.
So let's talk. Oh, I lost you for a sec there.
Okay.
So let's talk content. All right. I've been talking a lot about this. I truly believe this is the way for you to stand out and win in 2023. This is gonna short circuit some people's brains, because it's gonna be very much against everything we've ever been taught. Now, once again, I'm not saying this is a right or wrong conversation. I'm just saying I think there's a better way to show up on social media. Here's my piece of advice. Stop selling in your content. Stop selling in your content. Stop having every, we're taught, got to have the call to action, and it's always got to be, here's the link, join my team, now's the time. And we're taught that this is what we're supposed to do. And that actually used to work. Like 5 years ago, if I was doing some sort of a training or a program, I could just go to Facebook and post, hey guys, doing this $27 thing, here's the link, and people would sign up. I mean, it was just like, today, I could never do that. And so, but the problem is this, we try to sell too much in our content. People's sales resistance start to go up. They don't trust us as much and they stop paying attention. And the other thing is when you sell on a piece of content, it's not that there isn't still value in that. Like if I want to buy, okay, I'm going to buy. But what happens is you start to lose the attention of all these other people that could potentially grow into consultants or customers, and they just don't get as much value because you do that too much. So what I say is this, sell in your conversations, not in your content. So if we're including a call to action, don't have the call to action be the pitch or the ask. Have the call to action say, let's continue the conversation. Let's continue the conversation in stories. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear your advice. I'd love to know what you think. Content facilitates conversations. The less you sell in your content, I am 100% certain you will grow a bigger following and you will make more sales. Now, look, I know if you're somebody that's selling all the time in your content, it might be a little drastic for you to just stop doing it. So my advice is this, do it less. Do it less, focus on creating more content that's really just designed on trying to help and solve problems. Every piece of content shouldn't be about your products. And so what I say is this, delay the ask. The longer you can delay the ask in your public facing content, the bigger the ask will be.
I'm like sitting here just ready to take notes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should be taking notes. I'm going to go back and I'm going to rewatch this myself. Is this valuable, you guys? I'm seeing so many comments come through.
But I'll say this too as well, because I feel like this is a follow-up, because there's two polar opposites of this conversation. There's people that sell all the time. Mm-hmm. And then I like to call them the attraction marketing zealots that will reprimand you because they'll be like, oh my God, you put the name of your company in your profile? Do you not understand attraction? You told people what you do? To me, that is the most ludicrous piece of advice. Like you're supposed to hide all the time. Like we're running a business. And to think that we shouldn't share that business at some point, to me, makes no sense whatsoever. So it's okay to share your products. It's okay to share your life as it relates to what your business is doing. But here's the nuance. Just don't pitch and sell. This is hard for people to do. Like, it's like we want to show our lifestyle. We show that we're on vacation with our family, but we can't resist mentioning in there that it was because of our business, and if you're ready to join my team, now's the time. And I'm just telling you, what happens is you take a post that could be a very relatable and inspiring post, and it automatically becomes a sales pitch, and people look at it differently.
It's so funny. I don't know. I just went to a training a couple weeks ago, and I redid the training for my team, and what he said was that basically exactly what you're saying, that your brand, like who you are as a person, has to suffocate the marketing. And the moment that there's a call to action, it becomes, like you said, a sales pitch. Yeah. So you have to suffocate the sales pitch with just the value in who you are as a person. And I love seeing that alignment from two very, very different people. That's a clue, you guys. Well, that's such a clue.
So I like calls to action, but let's have the action not be buying. Let's have the action be, let's continue this conversation, right? And so I think that's the nuance.
I love that. Okay, I have another question. If you are, like, a lot of this has been directed towards distributors, which most of my following is just going to be very, like, average distributors. That's my vision, is to help the average distributor. But at the same time, what about for our leaders out there who are leading their teams through this kind of shifting market, do you have advice for the leaders watching?
Yeah. So look, for me, leadership training always starts with what are you doing, not what are you teaching your team to do. So are you showing them through your actions as an example how they should shift? So my first piece of advice is to a leader is learn how to sell in a different way, learn how to create content in a different way. Let your team see you starting to change the way you're showing up, and have that be the first step to you actually teaching them and really modeling to them a different way to do it. So that's the first thing. But here's, I guess this would probably be a valuable thing to say too, Morgan. So what is our primary responsibility as a leader, right? We're leading, right? We have to ask ourselves, where are we leading people to, right? Do we actually have a clear picture of where we want to go, where we want to take our business, where we want to lead our team? Are we clear on that vision? Because what I see, especially in the world today, it's really easy for somebody to just get caught up in fear with all the uncertainty out there. You know, we hear that people aren't spending money. We see that people are losing jobs. We hear inflation. The world is almost at the verge of war, and so many, like, we hear all this stuff, and it would be easy for us to just get caught up focusing on all the circumstances. Our job as a leader is to be able to get people to see beyond their current circumstances and become inspired that there's a brighter future. Our job is to take all of these circumstances that most people might be feeling afraid about and actually get them to see them from another perspective and see how this year could actually be an amazing opportunity. And continuing to cast that vision and get them inspired so that they don't get caught up in their problems. So I think from a leadership standpoint, what is your vision? What is your mission? And then keep sharing that with your team to get them thinking bigger.
So good. You guys, I'm so, the comment, I don't know if you can see the comments because I've never done a co-live.
Yeah, I can see them. Yeah.
I was like, they're so excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, I didn't want to keep you too long. So how about how do you feel about in-person events? I don't want to say the importance of in-person events because then I'm putting words in your mouth. But as far as conferences and showing up to conferences, like, how important do you feel like that is?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the most important things. I recognize that events are sometimes a challenge to get to. And I also recognize that there are legitimate circumstances that prevent us from attending events. I think a lot of times we just don't understand the value of events. One of my early mentors taught me this, and I believe I'm living proof of it. He told me that, here's the way he said it. He said, when you first join the company, you're in the business. After you attend your first event, the business is in you. And the other thing he told me is that leaders are born in events. And I believe that I'm actually living proof of that, because I came into my first network marketing company somebody that had a tremendous fear of public speaking. I struggled really big time my first year. I didn't recruit a single person. I doubted myself every step of the way. I never saw myself doing anything like this. And it wasn't until I attended my first event that I really got a chance to see and hear up close these people that I had been admiring from far, and really get a chance to get to know the company and the owners, that I started to really get it. And it was almost like, to me, there was this little seed that was planted at that first event that started to grow. And I really think, looking back, had I not really made a commitment to make sure that I was at the events and at least know that that was going to happen, I don't know that I still would have been in this profession today.
I completely agree. I feel the same way about my first conference. I always tell people I didn't get it until I went to my first event. Yeah. And I came home just on fire, just so excited, because I saw average people having success. And that's the thing, when you actually talk to the people in person and you're like, oh, you're so much like me. I had you on this pedestal, but you're actually normal. Yeah. But now I can see myself getting to where you are. Does that make sense?
Totally. And listen, not for nothing, for the SeneGence people on here, I'm going to be at the event, so y'all better be at the event. Okay. I'm making the trip. So you're not going to want to miss this one. I'm saying, for whatever it's worth, you will not want to miss this.
And you guys, if you don't know, I'm sure I'm allowed to say this. I'm pretty sure it's in the agenda. Not only is Bob doing a keynote, he's also doing some breakouts. Oh, yeah. So it's like, we're going to have smaller group sessions, which is,
I was on on a planning call with Melanie and some of the leaders
Yep.
the other day, and we were fleshing out what I'm going to be talking about, and I'm pretty fired up. I'm excited. So
it's gonna be so good. Okay. Well, I will let you go unless you have any last words. I am so excited about this, and I'm so honored that you even had this conversation with me, to be very honest. What about, say again, he's your virtual upline. That's
your virtual
podcast.
upline. Yep. So we have a podcast called the Your Virtual Upline Podcast, but we're on Instagram. So make sure we're connected here. I go live every single Monday through Friday morning at 9 a.m. So this is a great place for us to connect with training. And hey, listen, if we have any other non-SeneGence people on here, as I would imagine we would, we need to make Bob speaking at your convention happen. So let's pull together the forces. I'm looking to do a lot more keynoting this year. So let's pull together forces and let's plan to see how we can make that happen. So.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much. This was amazing, and I cannot wait to see you in April.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on here, Morgan. Take care. Bye-bye.